These days, if kids want to be told a story, all they got to do is turn on YouTube. Well, back in our day, our parents wouldn't even read to us, so we had to listen to story on records.
There are all kinds of things in the world today. Some are pretty dumb, but others okay. But nothing compares to the things back in my day. Now, it may seem primitive nowadays, but back in the day, whenever we would get these storybook records, they were pretty much the most amazing thing ever. You would put these things on your little record player. Now, this one in particular, I didn't have. I had more of like a Fisher-Price one. It was a little bit more, I guess, childish, kind of toyish.
This is Fisher-Price one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It was it was a different model then. I remember that this part was it was yellow, and it was a little bit smaller.
Yeah, no, they had different models of these. They did.
So you put the record on, and it would entertain you for a good 30 minutes, and then you go on bugging your mom, so she'd have to buy you another record. But they would have all sorts of ones that pretty much any franchise that you're into as a kid had some records that go along with it. The one I'm holding right here in particular is Star Wars. Now, what kid didn't like Star Wars in the early 80s, right?
Wait, not just any Star Wars. What Star Wars is that?
Well, I was going to get to that. They would tell stories about things that happened in the movie, but also things that didn't happen in the movie. Kind of side stories. This is Rebel Mission to Ord Mantell. So you get to see why C-3PO right here is pretty, I would say, distressed.
Distraught. He's very distraught.
And, there's Luke, being the hero that he is, and got some stormtroopers missing, as they always tend to do.
You know what? While we're on Star Wars, actually, these records had the record pouch right there, and when the record was playing, I'm gonna get freaking crucified for handling that record the way I just did. It was falling out. Anyways, as it was playing, you get to read along, and it'll say, "Ding, turn the page," and then you get the idea. You turn the page. So there was Star Wars, tons of Star Wars. One, that's Return of the Jedi. Here's Planet of the Hoojibs.
Who what's?
the who's its and what's its galore. Here is story, music, original photos from Star Wars, just Star Wars, the first one.
You want to hear something really screwed up?
Yeah.
So I was,
of course.
As I was telling you, I had that record player. The thing about it is, though, my parents really sucked at picking out records. To get me, yeah. So I didn't get anything cool like Star Wars.
What'd you get?
And I was a huge Gremlins fan, but I was never,
You never
graced with the presence of getting a Gremlins record as well. No, I got stuff like Bernstein Bears.
The stupid Bernstein Bears. It's funny that you mentioned the Gremlins. This is a set of 5, actually. And
we had these growing up.
We did have these growing up. These actually came in the Hardee's Kids meals.
That's what I remember. I remember they came from Hardee's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that came from Hardee's.
A lot of stuff that came from
Glasses.
Hardee's. Glasses and McDonald's too.
Badass gift to get a kid's
Yeah,
meal.
these were in a kids meal, I believe, at Hardee's. On top of, you said literally any franchise, right? Here is Master of the Universe, Revenge of Skeletor.
Dude, that's cool.
So he's coming back with a vengeance. He's pissed. You got E.T. up here. Here's another Empire Strikes Back. Here's another Gremlins one.
I know we had a Star Wars. Transformers.
Where is that? I do have that over here. Actually, I'll get to that. Yes, but even stuff like Atari Asteroids, the story of Atari Asteroids.
Yeah, just take a franchise that has no story and then make a story out
exactly. You talked about the Transformers.
of it. Well, actually, I think they didn't have a story.
Here's Transformers. I have a G.I. Joe one. I don't know. He's probably in that stack there. Not only that, talk about this one.
This is probably the best record storybook ever. Mr.
It could
T
be.
rescues the baby animals. Dude, what's not to love about that?
That's great. This is a show and tell. So instead of, you had to have a special record player, and it had a screen on it, as you can see here. It had a screen on it. You played the record, and had to have been something else that came into the whatever, and you saw the screens, the images here on the screen while you were listening to the story. But this particular show and tell, they had Shirt Tails. I love that cartoon.
Oh, Shirt Tails, nice.
Bernstein Bears.
That's probably the one he had.
Marvel Superheroes, Hello Kitty, Disney Classics.
Hey, he was like 8 and they were giving him stuff for like 4 year olds.
I know they were, right?
Yeah, hey, I was like 10, got Pound Puppies.
Sesame Street, DC superheroes, plus Mr. T, Flintstone, Scooby-Doo, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Disney fairy tales, fun with facts, storybook classics, fairy tales, Disney cartoons, Christmas tales, Bible stories, literally anything. And it wasn't just these 45s. 45s, what's a 45, Jay? Because I'm too young. I don't know what a 45 is. 45 is a small record.
Nice one, chump.
It's a miniature record. This is a mini disc, if you will. Okay, this would be equivalent to like a GameCube disc, right? I mean,
No, it's a little bigger than that.
well, you know what I mean, though. It's smaller
For the
than
technology at
yeah,
the
for the
time.
technology
Yeah.
at the time. But also we got what's up front right here. I can't see.
Those are LPs.
These are LPs, right? They're the bigger disc, regular disc. But even with these, you had
Oh, you got some Masters of the Universe working there?
Master Universe, and behind that is
Something. That is a
Star Wars.
Trek.
Star Trek. Star Trek. What? I was about
Trying to blow
say.
your mind.
I knew I didn't have a Star Trek album. So, and that was our entertainment. Because back in our day, parents gave a shit and they didn't just say go sit in front of the TV. Hang on, that's a lie. They did. But TV was limited more then than I think it is today. So what do we have to do? We had to entertain ourselves somehow. And instead of reading, which is stupid as we all know, we got read to us.
Well, it really has a lot to do with the fact that nowadays kids have smartphones. They have the internet. Literally, they can keep themselves entertained all day long with just a phone or a tablet. As a kid, what did you do? I mean, even in the early 80s, you could play Asteroids on Atari, you could watch Transformers, you could go outside and throw rocks at trees, or you could go listen to some of these records.
It wasn't just records either. It was cassette tapes.
It was cassette tapes. They had little adventure read-alongs on tape. This is actually the only one I have left from being a kid. 1986, the Transformers: Jaws of Terror.
That is actually from
my child.
from
This
your
particular
childhood,
tape is the
right.
only thing I have left. We had the Gremlins records and stuff all lost. Don't know
All
what happened
lost,
to any
yeah.
of that stuff. This is stuff we've accumulated since then.
Yeah, because we're fucking children is what we are.
We can't keep anything nice.
Here's the thing, though. These things are still going to hold up. These things, well, hang on. They're still going to play. Let's put it that way. I don't know how well they're going to hold up, but you could probably, if you raised your kid right from the beginning and raised him on 80s stuff, he would grow up knowing this stuff and appreciating this kind of stuff. And now it's just lost, I think.
I wonder if somebody has uploaded some of these to YouTube, like this Star Wars series and the Gremlins series to YouTube.
If they haven't, I'm going to do it on my channel, No Nuts.
No, not.
I'll ask Ryan about it first. Make sure I don't get copyright strike, though. 'Cause
From Hardee's and
you never know.
Well, I'm sure the franchise is here.
From
the Ewoks. The Ewoks come after you.
the Ewoks come knocking on my door. Duk, duk, duk. That might be a good video, though. Or read along with Jay. Oh.
You need to be
Let me
like
tell
naked
you
with a
a
pipe.
Let me tell you. I can't even do the voice right now. Let me tell you a story.